All right, so I've been really looking forward to recording this video, and it's about introducing Chad Melkahaney and really introducing him to the family of One Rental at a Time. Really gonna be a part of this channel, part of the extended team. So why don't I just go ahead and get in and sort of talk about why we're looking to add a team member and why I think Chad's the right fit for the first spot. But before I do that, just want to always remind you, if you do me a favor, if you like what we're doing here, you have content you'd like to see, the more comments and subscriptions you get just keeps me going and really helps me understand what I'm providing is of value. The likes really help, sort of makes me think that the content we're doing on that particular video is interesting and important to you. And then really appreciate the comments. The folks out there leaving comments, it's great. I do my best to interact with you and respond when I can. So just keep it up. Again, thank you very much for that. All right, so really this started with a question of how I could do more. Both more for the mission of helping people, both the mission of finding opportunities, creating opportunities, helping, investors who are sitting in a crap position, meaning cash rich, asset poor. Just really how can I help more people was really what I was starting to think about. Really came to me doing a session in Fresno where I was talking to 60 or so folks in the Fresno market that are real estate investors, and it was like, I really should be doing more. I sort of sat back and tried to think about what my ideal team member would look like, right? If I was going to add, one person part-time, what would that look like? Talk about why I wanted to do that, sort of the things I thought we could do together, and sort of, the 1 + 1 is, 5 or 6 and not just 2. Give you a little highlight of who Chad is, and he was at that event and really stuck out, both during the session and after, and really left a positive impression. Talking about things we're doing at the start, and then where we could be taking this thing going forward. So I'll just jump right in. Really started with my question, right? How can I do more? And really, self-assessment is something I've always tried to do. Ask myself things like this: what are my weaknesses? Right? What am I not getting done? I've never been in the market, right? I'm 2.5 hours away. I've never hidden from that. It was one thing being a buy and hold landlord and being 2.5 hours away when you got a trusted team and all of that. But now, I'm spending, I'm driving there twice a week sometimes. I'm got, I don't know, somewhere between 8 and 10 transactions going at one time, and I want to do more. So the question is really, what else can happen? And at some point, there's activities that frankly should be done that aren't getting done, or I'm pulling favors from other people. Maybe somebody on the property management team or something that's just not the right thing to do long term, right? Everybody's willing to help and the great people on the team, but at some point, I need to stop pulling favors. I really like the idea of potentially trading, experience and mentorship for activities. Right, there's a lot of things that I need to get done, whether it's walking properties or seeing properties, that I might be looking at that Chad could do, for example, and then we talk about it, and he learns from the experience and gets better at it, and obviously I learn for it. And then what's the goal for both of us, right? It's always been important. Hopefully it's clear by now. I enjoy helping people. So one of the first things I did with Chad is really try to figure out what he wanted to get out of this, and make sure that I could accomplish that. So when I looked at my weaknesses and gaps and all of that, whoever was going to be had to be local, right? It wouldn't make sense to have another person in the Bay Area, right? So having somebody in Cupertino, for example, wouldn't make sense. I needed somebody in Fresno, a native who has experience and the hunger to get out and drive for dollars and things of that nature. They had to be eager. I call it hunger here. And really saw that in Chad. He asked some great questions. He stuck around. He was the last one there. Reached out to me. I think 3 people out of 60. I think most of them took my business card, and only 3 people reached out. He was one of them. The most, I don't call it the professional or aggressive. So I as a sales guy, I get it, right? He did the right things. He both hit me up on email and text, which I was impressed with. I really wanted to get somebody who had phone experience, because one of the things that I see coming as the market evolves is we're going to have to start cold calling and things of that nature, right? Getting lists, trying to get the best at probate, get the best of these other avenues that I really haven't focused on because I'm, doing the other things. But I know that I can help him get experience on the phone and get scripts and interviews and things of that nature. So, it's not something you could train for, but if he already had it, that was a huge plus. We're talking about trading time for mentorship. Yeah, we might have some dollars go back and forth just in the meantime. Certainly will be rewards should deals get done. There's no question. That's just who I am. All right, somebody brings a deal in as part of it, and they're going to get some if something happens. But in the meantime, right, trading mentorship and experience is something of interest. And then, I wanted somebody that wasn't going to be a wallflower, right? If I throw out a good idea or throw out an idea at all, I want somebody who's going to give constructive criticism, right? Not just going to be, oh, wow, you're the smartest person in the world, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't help anyone. And I've already sent him some stuff just as tests. And he's always come back with good information, feedback, tweaks, and just telling you how it is. I mean, one of the things I wrote was a little bit too long, and he's like, dude, stop. It's way too long. And I'm like, okay, God, you know what you're doing, which I was very appreciative for. So, I wanted to have more of a presence, right? I envisioned this one rental at a time being a brand in Fresno, whether it be its own company and brokerage when I hit the 2-year mark of having a license, we'll see. But it certainly could be a buy-sell business. I'm certainly going to get space in an office with my friend out there who's just got another office building, so we're going to get some space and really build a presence. Again, I wanted to, we've already talked about hitting the phones and talking to landlords. One of the things I'm trying to do is I'm trying to change the game again. If you know anything about me, I don't typically do what everyone else is doing. I think that's lazy, frankly. So some of the things we've done is we've already developed a script, a series of 5 quick questions that we are hopefully going to start asking landlords about. And we want to build a database of landlords and, more importantly, their answers and feedback, and track it over time and do a report and things of that nature, right? The big vision I have, or I've challenged them with, is I'd love to talk to every landlord in Fresno, right? Whether it's in Fresno or outside Fresno. So that's a big scary goal. I'm sure it'll take it could take a year, who knows? But that's a desire that I have. And then again, by doing this and create the infrastructure and more of a presence for one rental at a time, ideally we'll be attracting more opportunities. We'll have more bandwidth to do opportunities. I won't be wasting days sometimes going down there to drive properties when I can have him do that. And he could do it maybe 90 minutes where it takes me 7 hours, because 5 of that's driving there and back. So it's all goodness. And we've brainstormed and talked about things we could do, and I always could take it to some level, 2.5 hours away, do these recordings, and it probably gets somewhere. But I think we can do something bigger and faster, and maybe this is just the first of many sort of hustlers we have that are out there working and hustling and looking to get rewards for putting deals together. So this is Chad, good looking guy there. He's a hungry local resource, very experienced in Fresno area. He's a tremendous marketer. That's something I've already picked up on. It's a skill set he has that I'm going to leverage. I don't have. It's not what I came from. He's very experienced with sort of funnels and creating processes, and speaks the sales speak as I do, and we sort of click and get each other. He's not afraid of the phone. That was a big deal. I needed to have someone that's willing to make, in theory, 100 dials a day, and he's going to be he has a day job, so maybe it's 30 dials a day, whatever it is. He had to want it. He had to want real estate, right? Again, when I'm bringing him his mentorship and experience, and maybe even some deals that we do together. But I want to make sure that he's better off for this experience. That's a big deal to me. As when we get done working together in 2 or 3 years, and he goes off and does his own thing, I want him to be better for this experience. He made it clear he's looking for a mentor, and is willing to trade and work hard. He has a plan, for having 30 units inside of 5 years, which I was impressed by. I don't know that I was even thinking that big before I started out. So 30 units within 5 years is impressive. Again, I already mentioned this earlier. He's very aggressive. He reached out. He was the last one there at the event. He hit me up with an email in the morning. He hit me with a text in the afternoon. Very professional. Wasn't a pain or anything, but I like that. And thus far, every time I've given him a question or idea, he's always exceeded expectations. One of the things I've done throughout is test people over and over and see what they do. It's been fun. So right now I've just asked him to learn a couple of zip codes, a couple of the smaller ones, just to see what he would do, see what, driving for dollars, and doing some research on some what's going on in ownership and things of that nature. All right, driving for dollars is something I've never done. I'm trying to get to a point where he's talked to 100 landlords, because again, we have this little list of interview questions, and I think once we get to 100, it's a a report that we could generate once a month or once a quarter, which ideally we will send to landlords in Fresno, which I think would be pretty cool. And again, the whole idea of this one rental at a time or going next level with Chad is we want to be a resource providing value to landlords long before they need to sell or buy. Thus, by being in front of them and adding value, we become a default answer, at least some of the times. And again, by doing this, we can build a database of landlords and just know who has what and things of that nature. And more importantly, not just necessarily who has what, because you can get that in the systems today, but ideally we're building bridges and relationships with these folks by providing quarterly or monthly reports, and hopefully become something they see as value. So again, we got to build this database, right? It's very early days, but something we have to do. Instead of saying we get to all landlords, I'm wondering if we get to 90% and how long that takes. I want to understand every landlord, and part of the questionnaire is to figure out, is the next thing you do buy? Are you going to buy is the next thing? Are you going to hold, or are you selling? Just by understanding that, and I think you look across a collection of landlords, you get a feel for what's happening in the market. And then again, we're going to build out a monthly report, maybe quarterly in the beginning, but I'd really like to get to a point where it's monthly, and we're sending it in the mail or electronic, to hundreds of Fresno landlords. I think that would be tremendous. So in the end, I just wanted to introduce you to someone that will hopefully be a part of one rental at a time for years to come. I'm sure some of you that we have meetings in Fresno will get to know him. And again, if you would do me a favor and subscribe to the channel if you like what we're doing, hit that like button if you like this video, and if you like Chad, give Chad a like. I'm sure he would appreciate it. And if you have any questions or think you might want to be a part of this and happen to be in Fresno, leave a comment below, reach out, and we'll see what happens next. So in the end, have a great day and take care.